Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Lenovo Yoga 9i 14-inch 2-in-1. Now, I'm very excited to share this with all of you. It is available for purchase. The specific model that Lenovo sent over is the 14i TL5. It's got the 4K, that is UHD display, 16 gigs of RAM, a ½ terabyte NVMe drive, but most important about this brand new redesigned C940 that's branded as a 9i is that we've got Intel's 11th gen Tiger Lake under the hood. Specifically, the most powerful variant of that chip for Ultrabooks, the 1185G7. Of course, that's complemented by Intel's Iris Xe graphics. Essentially, what this means is that we're getting a 30% roughly performance boost from Ice Lake, the previous generation that I covered last year, and on the graphics side of things, effectively doubling frame rates for most games that at least this Ultrabook can handle. So that is a major benefit for those of you that were waiting and wondering what Tiger Lake would bring to the table. Now, someone did get this review unit before I did, but again, I haven't seen anything on this on YouTube. So if I'm the first, I'm the first. If I'm not, no big deal. Either way, I am just really excited to see what this machine has to offer, because Lenovo already had basically one of, if not the best, 2-in-1 on the market with the C940 last year, and now they've just built upon it by making it more modern, I would say, by making it smaller. It was already a very modern machine, but it's gotten even, as I just said, smaller. It has a leather, at least top half, which is not a new thing. I mean, anyone who's purchased laptops for the last 15, 20 years, we've seen leather before, but we've never seen form factor and performance like this before, and that's the beauty of what Lenovo, I expect, has done with this 9i. And there you can see already the leather top of this. So whether or not that's going to be your style is a matter of personal preference, of course. The color, I believe, is referred to as shadow black. And this is all about, as I've stated, the machine got smaller, build quality still feels very solid. I'm expecting the sound bar, which is the actual hinge, to still provide best-in-class performance. That was one of the things that I loved about the previous gen C940. Let's see if there's anything else in the box. But really, Tiger Lake is all about Intel stepping it up, because AMD has been breathing down their necks. So we've got some paperwork, I'm assuming warranty, silica gel, my favorite treat for later. Let's get on to the good stuff. Power brick, still 65 watts, 60 watt-hour battery. I'm very curious what battery life is going to be like with this machine. I think this is basically the exact same brick that came with the C940 last year. But again, this is all about how this thing is going to perform. Now, the UHD display on this, I believe, is roughly 500 nits, has HDR support. So I'm very interested to see its overall fidelity. I think 90% DCI P3. Power button right there on the right side, totally clean. This is a metal chassis. On the back, we've got the pen right there that does still pocket into the garage or slot. So it does charge itself. You can see right there, that stylus. And it's one of the features I really do like about Lenovo's 2-in-1 lineup. Having that is great. And I am also currently reviewing the 15-inch version of this machine, but the 15-inch does not have the 11th gen CPU. So while that is still one of the best 2-in-1s on the market in its class, this is in another class, since this is an Ultrabook that does not have a dedicated GPU, but rather integrated graphics. But that's the beauty of what Intel has done here. They've made Ice Lake look like, well, it's from years ago and not last year. And they needed to do that in order to really get back on top of the mountain, so to speak. So we have a Type A port here, 2 Thunderbolt ports, headphone and microphone jack combo, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. By the way, those of you that are always curious, because there are always people that are curious, this can be open one-handed. Build quality really tight. You can see the garage pen there. You know, they're just letting you know Type A connector. And these are Thunderbolt 4 for those of you that are wondering. That's how you're going to charge the machine as well. So if you've been waiting for Thunderbolt 4, you've got it. Now, someone else did already unbox this somewhere, just not on YouTube. Someone has reviewed it because it came charged up, open, powered up, or it could have been Lenovo themselves. I don't know. But either way, I'm just really excited to share this with all of you. The first thing I can tell you is that the UHD, the display, the screen looks gorgeous. They have also changed, you can see the finish. So we've got like a matte finish here, and then basically a metallic black finish on the touch pad area, and doesn't seem too bad. I thought it might be a fingerprint magnet when I saw images of this, but it seems pretty good. I'm not seeing too many fingerprints, and that's something that I feel like every manufacturer is always trying to work on. But remember, of course, this is a 2-in-1, so it's all about being able to put it into any posture you want right on the display, consume media. Really stiff. I like that. There's very little play in the display. Battery life is the one question that we're going to answer, of course. With that 60 watt-hour battery, I am very curious how it's going to perform. I wish this was an OLED, but this IPS panel is still gorgeous, I can already tell. And I expected that because the IPS panel on the C940 was great too. But things have just gotten tighter. This is a smaller, lighter machine. I'm not sure by how much exactly. I'll cover that in my update. But I just wanted to share it with all of you. We've got a fingerprint scanner right here. Keyboard looks pretty much the same. I'm expecting still best-in-class audio out of that soundbar hinge, just like with its big brother, the 15-inch model that I also have in right now for review. 720p camera, webcam at the top center there. We still have a privacy switch. I'm not sure whether or not, though, we have support for Windows Hello. So that's something I'm hoping has been integrated that didn't exist in last year's C940. And if it doesn't, that still won't be a game breaker, because at the end of the day, this is all about, again, the most performance and, in my opinion, the best quality when it comes to build and overall capability that you can get in the lightest form factor. Now, the one thing this machine doesn't have, just like the C940, which I wish that it did, is a micro SD card reader. Lenovo, please put one on here. There's no reason not to do it. Everyone else is still doing it. You're making some of the best hardware on the market. Give me a way to stick an SD, at least a micro, into a machine like this. But again, build quality seems stellar. I actually like this two-tone. It is a big deviation from last gen, which was just one color throughout. Some of you are going to prefer this new style of the leather and metal contrast. Again, this isn't a new thing in the world of laptops, but I have to say I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but I like the look and feel. And this is just, it's a smaller machine than last year's 14-inch C940, but with performance, again, I'm going to reiterate, that's the major difference. The performance is not what you would typically get out of a single generation refresh. And Intel was put on their heels. And as consumers, we benefit from competition. So it's a good thing. Again, incredibly clean design. The Yoga branding right here, you can see it. It's just a really nice machine. And it just says Yoga 9 series. Rubber feet on the bottom. You can see all the heat dissipation here. And I'm just expecting great things. This is likely going to be the best Ultrabook on the market. The only other machine that I see really directly competing with it is HP's 14T, which that's the Spectre X360, which I'm also waiting on. But remember, that is a different machine in that it does not have a UHD panel. It's a 3000 by 2000, and that's because it's not a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So that's a whole nother beast, 3 by 2 aspect ratio there, which some people are going to prefer. But I can tell you right now, Lenovo, from at least my initial impressions with this machine, has done an amazing job on this refresh. And I like the style. Now it's going to be all about benchmarking and seeing What the real tangible difference, I keep saying 30% and twice the performance when it comes to gaming, and that's without a dedicated GPU. Now I'm going to see what it really can do. So it's time to put this thing through the paces. I'm of course going to do an inking demo with this as well, and hopefully the 14T will end up in the studio at the same time so I can actually compare them directly. That's what I'm hoping, because again, this and that machine, and eventually the refresh of the HP Spectre 13T, are going to be the best two-in-ones, just as they were last year, but this year with a whole new level of performance that, again, you wouldn't expect from one generation to the next. So really excited about this. When it comes to 4K video editing, big bump, at least that's what I've seen Tiger Lake in terms of benchmarking delivers. And as I've continued to mention, when it comes to gaming, you know, you're not going to be installing the latest and greatest games, but in general, light gaming on a machine like this, the brand new integrated graphics really do take Iris Plus to the woodshed. I mean, we're talking about, as I've stated, double the frame rates, and that's a really big jump for something that doesn't have a dedicated GPU. So a lot to like here, even though this is just initial impressions and an unboxing. Great build quality. I think really it's a great looking machine. I already know what the audio performance is going to be like, but of course in the update you'll find out if it is as good or better than last year's C940. So just really excited to share it with all of you. Again, this promises to be one of the best Ultrabooks and two-in-ones ever made. Again, this is the Lenovo Yoga 9i14. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.